Assalamualaikum everyone. So this is our week 7 BBL 12. As for this week, I will be giving you some feedbacks based on the week 6 activity report that you have filled up based on the Google form, and I will also briefly give you some information about the expected outcomes of this week activities. You basically need to come up with a list of options for the main issue. Basically, how are you going to solve the problems? What are the actions that you need to take? And doing some tests on the options or on the actions that you plan to take. So for group 1, my comment on the main issues are, if possible, if you can concise these 2 sentences, that would be better. But overall, you guys are already on the right track. For the list of the relevant information of the issues that you have identified, the first law is okay, number 2 law is okay. But then the previous similar case, I think that's quite general. So if you can find a specific case, if not a specific case, make sure you know which case that you guys are referring to, because at the moment I'm thinking that this is just a statement of saying that about millions of animals are being killed for the labs use. Because if you think about it, animals are being used in all around the world, so not just US. Okay, so yeah, think of a specific case if possible, if you have one. Obviously there's one, but yeah, just find one. Main keywords, I think rabbit is not a keyword. Experimental animal is the keyword. Small cage is not a keyword, I think here. More about proper animal, what do you call that? I wouldn't say storage. Find the right terms in explaining the small cage. Hallway is not the keywords, definitely. First year student as well is not the keywords, I think. It can be, but the hallway and the rabbit is not the keywords here. As for the list, the list factors, I think number one, number two, and number three are somewhat similar, because you're basically saying that using animals to advance scientific understanding, to model or study disease, develop test potential form of treatment. These are basically in the same thing, if you get what I mean. But these are fine. But I also want you to think about what are the issue that cause the animal being caged that way. Um, so, um, and why makes you think that the animal's being caged that way? Is it because of the senior doesn't have consideration for the rabbit? So think of apart from from the scientific stuff, think of the other way, the other perspective for the factors. The list of the players, I have no problem with the senior students. I also think researchers could be another list of the player, because it's not the same as the senior students. Senior students are students, researchers are the one I think has more higher rank than the students. Dura, maybe you want to put her in like in a bracket, a first year student. Administration, this is where I think I have a bit of problem here. Make it specific. Administration of what? Of the laboratory. If you can go for, is there anyone actually in charge on the ethics of the lab? So identify them, get the right terms for that. List of the parties affected by the issue. Like I said, make sure the researchers, if possible, make it as point number 2, point number 4. Group 2, is it ethical to conduct an experiment of injecting and growing tumor cells in Sprague-Dawley rats, considering it has a possibility to cause pain or even death to the rats? I think this is right. This is the main issues, but rather than giving question, I think it will be good if you can make it as a statement. The relevant information here are fine, I think. Previous case, again, if you can give me a specific rather than just give me this mouse with huge uterus tumor to 2019 experiment. Give me specific name. Is there an article about this? Is there a name for this case? For the list factors for group 2, point number 1 are okay. Point number 2 and 3, I think, are bits of speculation. It's not stated in the main in the issues, if you remember. So think of what are the factors that may cause the issues. I think humor is fine. Also, maybe you can learn from group 1. Um, uh, from point number 1 to number 4, you can probably emulate from them. Okay. These the players involved are also fine, but again, maybe something that you can learn from group 1 as well. And the parties affected by the issues, animal rights activists, organization. Think of, yeah, again, one of the reason why I going through all this feedback from each group is so that you can learn from each other what others group has actually done, so maybe you can look at group 1's list of the parties affected by the issues. Obviously group 1 as well, you can learn from the group 2. So for group 3, have team X is having a problem whether to submit the paper to a journal or to hold a press conference. First, to create public awareness about the harm in lipstick ingredient. This is fine. I think these are okay. The main issue, this is where I think I have a bit of problem. Law, product liability. I don't quite understand what is this. Is there a law with the name of product liability? Maybe you want to, go and further refine it. Similar case, Johnson & Johnson talcum powder ovarian cancer lawsuits. Maybe you can't give me further information here, but when you do your presentation on your poster, make sure you give explanation why is there a similarity between this case with your problem. Keyword public awareness. Maybe you want to add other keywords from the media perspective, from the science perspective as well. For the factors that cause the issue. So the issue is here. The issue here is that the ingredient in the lipsticks is dangerous to human consumption. So that's actually the issues. And you are thinking about Team X should be doing press conference prior publishing the journal. So the issue is the ingredient, and then you take the dilemma whether Team X should go with the press conference or should they go with the article journal. So that's the issue. So I think what you have listed here is okay. I'm not really sure with number 2 because I'm not sure about the improving survival rate. Rather than survival rate, number 1 about the safety is more important in this case, I think. Number 3 is definitely a good factor that cause the issue. List of the players involved: researchers, journalists, consumers. Other than the consumers, probably you wanna mention the public, not just the consumers. These parties affected by the issue, are you sure just the consumer will be affected by this issue? Think about it. If you the issue of the ingredient, will it just affect the consumer? Will it affect the scientists, or will it not? And for group 4, I think numbers of your friend have a shorter answer than this one. I mean, the shorter main issue. But this answer by Shazin Adriana, I think, is more descriptive, which is good because if you compare with the rest, they are just like one short, and you cannot really explain. If you put it in a post, think it like this way. If you put it on the poster and just put that short point, will it explain your problems? Right. So think of what these main issues are, the write up that you're going to put in on your poster. These are the relevant information. I also found that most of you show the similar cases. Human error during pesticide spraying behind the similar, which has led to students poisoning, was um, quite not really relatable to this problem. But then I have this explanation by Shazlin Adriana, if I'm not mistaken. These cases help in decision making because it show that pesticide can cause severe harm to humans. So um, I think this is not really similar case, but it just gives you how pesticides actually affect the environment and as well as the human being. So maybe I think you can find other similar case if possible, because at the moment your main issue here is about Johan and his dilemma, right? um, yeah, that's my opinion, but you can proceed with what you think is the best one. So I think the risk factors that cause the issue is some of you put as employment status, some of you put as the rate of employment is low, high ethical values in Johan. Is it true that he has a high ethical value, or maybe you just want to go with ethical values in Johan, or maybe you want to talk about ethical value in versus um, livelihood. So rather than high ethical value, is it really that caused this issue? Is it the high ethical value of in Johan really caused this issue? Think about it. List the players involved in the issue are fine, I think. List the parties affected by the issue, consumers, plant, animals. Do you think Johan and Johan's family and the Supergirl syndrome were also affected by the issues? Um, if not, you can proceed with what you already have in this list of the parties affected.